Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. Happy Halloween. It's October 31st. Welcome to my channel. Now, yesterday had an interesting day. Markets opened, pushed up, and then they failed. Right? It's what's been the theme. Right into a key level. I actually got short there and had a pretty nice trade yesterday. Again, I have to do a video. Um, but this morning we're gapping down. We have core piece. I forgot to put that on the card, but the core PCE is coming um, at 8:30. Let's see what that happens. We hit actually like pretty close to a key demand zone in ES, and I believe in the Nasdaq. And let's see, because this has got election coming up. We're actually below the month-to-day anchor VWAP in the ES now, so sellers are in control for the month right now. Um, the Nasdaq's been battling that month-to-day anchor VWAP, so we have to see. Like I said, Meta and Microsoft, the market did not like their earnings, so pretty much a good reason of why we're down this morning. Okay, so that's what's going on. All right, now without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. That's my edge. It's how I read the markets. Keeps me on the right side if I follow my plan. Okay. Now, if you enjoy my content, please smash the like button. You can wait till after, or you can do it now. Be much appreciated. So I do this every day at 8:10 a.m. Hopefully you can subscribe and set an alert. Have a cup of coffee. You driving to work, listen to me. I give you the recap of what happened yesterday, what's happening this morning, the news, the economic calendar, the leaders, the laggards, the reasons why. Just stick with your boy. That's all. Stick with your boy. All right. And then, you know, this past month, like I said, uh, change it over to trading futures, change my execution strategy. My computer went haywire on me. It finally replaced the motherboard. I lost how I got gamma levels. So this month's been a pretty interesting month for me. That is now behind me. New motherboard. I actually created my own app to get my gamma levels. So that's been solved. I've been trading futures now for this month. Uh, Riding back on the saddle. I started trading futures. Now I'm back. So that's all back. It's just been a big change, and it happened all in October. All right. So hopefully I get some couple trading videos out for you guys. All right. And you can see them at X at Gonzo719. You can check out my YouTube shorts. All right. Still there. All right. And you can check out my TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. Check out those trading videos. I think they're very educational, and they show you how I put on my risk for the day trade, right? And the criteria I use. All right. All right. I think we can get right into the watch list here. And you're going to notice something at the top of the list. Boom. The VIX. The VIX. All right. So that VIX is up 9.88%. We're over 20. We're at 21 actually, 0.25. So with this pre-market gap, the VIX is higher. And next week, I believe November 5th, we have an election. Okay. Now, that push down elevated the VIX, right? So, and we'll get into all that, why, and blah, 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 right? Now, crude um, seems like it's bottoming it out a little bit. It's not going crazy higher, but it's up 0.71. Bitcoin's up 0.59. 10-year yields just being a pest. Now, core PCE comes at 80.30. We'll check that out live. All right. The Russell's flat. The dollar's flat. 30-year bonds only down slightly, down 0.05. Gold's down 0.30. The Dow is down 0.42. ES down 0.58. Nasdaq down 0.68. These were down more earlier. Okay. Ether down 0.73. And silver, the little volatile metal, is down 0.84. So there you go with futures. Get into the Mag 7 Plus here. Let's look at the leader. The leaders are Tesla and Boeing. They're not up much. Tesla's up 0.28, Boeing up 0.2. Okay. Now, who's lagging? Let's go. Let's go with Nvidia's down 0.79. Amazon reports after the close today down 0.90. Broadcom, semi down 1.33. Snowflake down 1.34. Meta is down 1.93. Coinbase is down 2.24 because they reported earnings. Meta reported earnings. Okay. Microsoft down 3.36. Now Microsoft initially was up, and then I guess on the call fell apart. All right. So Microsoft, Meta down. Yeah, that's going to bring the market down. That's your communications and your technology sector right there. All right. Moving on to the top sector stocks. All right. Now, leading here, Chevron. Okay. Crude, the little bounce. Exxon, Walmart. Okay. Now, laggard, we're going to start with Salesforce down 0.51. Morgan Stanley down 0.78. Eli Lilly, who took a big dump yesterday after their earnings miss, but then skyrocketed higher. I mean, it skyrocketed. It opened at 798, went all the way down to like 769, and went all the way at one point to 860. That is nuts. Okay, that is nuts, and that's why the healthcare sector was up so strongly yesterday. Okay, now they're down this morning, but still, that's quite a recovery. Uber reported earnings. Market didn't like it, down 8.10%. And that is the second largest holding in the industrial sector. Okay, believe it or not, it's the second largest holding in the industrial sector. Now, look at the swing trade list here. Carvana reported earnings. Wow. They are up 18.52%. Okay. Roblox is up 14.19. Twilio is up 13.79. Norwegian Cruise Lines up 5.33. So some big winners here. Herbalife up 5.29. DoorDash up 4.67. Donald Trump up 0.270. ConocoPhillips up 2.63. They report earnings. Charter also report earnings 2.63. Bristol Myers Squibb report earnings up 2.35. Carnival Cruise Lines up 2.30. Allstate, I believe that's Allstate, up 0.222. Mastercard up 1.42. Airbnb up 1.27. MicroStrategy up 1.17. I'm going to finish it off with the 1%ers here. And Palo Alto up 1.11. All right, let's get to the laggards. And we have some laggards. Roku reported earnings. They are down 13.69%. Robinhood down 10.74%. I think Robinhood got hurt. I forget why they got hurt. We'll look at it later. eBay down 5.89. ARM got downgraded, down 4.57. Riot down 4.39. Supermicrocomputers, that audit, boy, that was bad for Supermicrocomputers yesterday. They are down at $31 a share. Okay. MetLife down 3.84, MGM down 3.40, GameStop down 2.36, Lyft maybe in sympathy with Uber down 2.71, GameStop I just said, Palantir down 2.29, Datadog down 2.01, then Merck, Vertiv, Arc, Micron, why am I forgetting how to say that name? I forget how to say that name. Regener. My blind's blocking that name. Regen. Whatever. Yeah, that's it there. All right, moving on. Moving on to our sectors, our SUTs. I keep trying to combine sectors and guts. The guts of the market. All right, let's look at these leaders here. Energy. Energy leading up 0.24, followed by utilities, right? Who is lagging? We got industrials. Remember, Uber's down 0.4. Wow, that's moving. That's really moving. Down 0.35. Basic materials down 0.46. Semiconductors down 0.51. And technology down 0.83 with Microsoft. Okay. And I'm surprised Meta is not bringing communications as much as down. Interesting. Okay. That's the guts. Now we can move on to economic calendar. Now 8:30 we got core PCE coming out. So 8:30 core PCE, personal income, personal spending, right? employee cost benefits, employee cost wages, initial jobless claims. Okay, Chicago PMI 945. So Chicago PMI probably going to make me stay away from something. Okay, not sure how much that will move, but that's what we have. So we have core PCE. Okay, and this is an economic calendar, right? Tomorrow, big time non-farm payrolls, unemployment. Okay, big time, big time, big time. Now we'll get to the earnings. Obviously, got big earnings, mega cap earnings today. Continuing the mega cap earnings. So you can see Uber, Peloton, Merck, ConocoPhillips, Sirius, Altria, Mastercard, Estee Lauder, Norwegian Cruise Lines all reported this morning. After the close today, Amazon, Apple, Intel, Atlassian. All right, United States Steel all report after the close. All right, let's get back to some news here. I don't know if I put this up or not. Okay, Meta. Meta stock fell 2.9 after Facebook owner reported rising artificial related costs, artificial intelligence, which dampened optimism surrounding better than expected third quarter earnings and revenue. Okay. Microsoft stock fell 3.7 after the tech giant predicted slower growth in its Azure cloud business, signaling that the company's already hefty AI investments were not enough to keep pace with capacity constraints. eBay stock fell 9% after the e-commerce firm reported disappointing guidance for the crucial holiday shopping season. Robinhood stock fell 10% after the trading platform reported that its third quarter earnings missed expectations, although crypto trading volume and revenue doubled year on year. Uber stock fell 5.7 after the ride-hailing firm's gross bookings grew at its slow pace in over a year, even as it edged past quarterly profit estimates. Merck stock fell 0.8 after the drug maker warned of ongoing sluggishness in the sales of its Gardasil vaccine in China. Estee Lauder stock slumped 16% after the cosmetics giant reported a revenue miss and withdrew its fiscal 2025 outlook amid ongoing challenges in China and travel retail. Wow. I wonder how Ulta is looking at Ulta Beauty from that. Peloton stock rose 7.5 after the connected fitness bike company named Peter Stern as its new CEO and in a long-running search for the successor to the former boss Barry McCarthy. Comcast stock rose 6% after the media giant beat third quarter revenue estimates, driven by strong box office performance for its studio, higher added sales during the 2024 Paris Olympics. There's some news for you guys. All right, so financial juice. Let's see what we got here. The Bank of Japan keeps rates unchanged at 0.25 as expected. Okay, so the yen's probably holding steady. Let's see here. Tech stocks hit, failed to expire. Yeah, there's really nothing here. Really nothing here. Let's go to upgrades. All right. Upgrades. EA, upgrade from hold to buy. KLAC, market perform to outperform. Wingstop, neutral to a buy, hold to a buy. Wingstop, wow. Okay, downgrades. Downgrades, ARM. Told you about that. ARM downgraded. Kraft Heinz downgraded. Super Microcomputers downgraded from a buy to a hold. There we go. Initiations. Nothing to really talk about there. Price target changes. This has not been the best lately. Sometimes I see target raises. Meta still got a target raise, 780 to 800. Okay, target lowered. Let's see, Microsoft target lowered from 500 to 495. KLAC target lowered, 760 to 725. All right, that's about it there. That's about it there. That's about it there. All right, we're gonna move on to daily charts here, folks. To the daily charts. Before that 5 minutes, we have 5 minutes before news drops. Okay. So here's our good old chart before obviously overnight activity, right? So what we do yesterday, tried to push up, couldn't, failed. The typical fail. Look at these wicks. You got lower wicks, higher wicks. It just can't. It's just the election. It's looming over us, right? So we basically close right here at the previous day's open. pretty much hit down the 20 simple day moving average. And that's where the market closed. Now, where are we at now? 576.80. 576. Look how far down, boy. Gapping down here, right? 576.80. Now, I saw it was down here earlier. That would be last month's highs and last week's lows. So it was hanging out down here. That's the bigger range of this range here. This big balance area, there's a micro and there's the big one. And it was down here. Okay? It's not anymore. Let's look at the futures. See that? Look at that. Hit last week's lows right off of it in futures. Look at that. Right to the tick. 58.01 was last week's lows. Okay? See this big balance area that went to the bottom. Look at this wick here. Right? Right here, and now it's getting bought up. What happens here? I don't know. In futures, you're below last month's highs. Okay? Now, moving on to the Qs. The Qs, look, I had that little fake out the day before. Yesterday, opened up, pushed up, tried to break last week's highs. Couldn't do it. Closed here, right? Now, we're at 493.40 right now, 493.40. You're all the way right here. You're at below last month's highs. Right below last month's highs. Okay? Now look, you can take out these 3 days, you're going to push down farther. To where, I don't know, but we're right here. You can take out these last 3 days. That's pretty significant. Now, we have an election. Again, it seems nobody wants to bag hold, so anything can happen, right? NASDAQ futures, check it out. Right here. Here's the wick from this morning, right? Now, and then futures, below last month's highs, right? Far away from last week's lows. Right at the 20-day simple moving average, and you're right at the 9 EMA daily. So that just tells you, whenever you see this 9 EMA just kind of going flat, the 20s flattening out, the 50s flattening out, that means we're just in balance. I mean, that's it really all it's telling you. Okay? That's all it's telling you. All right, I think that does it for that. That was our daily charts. All right, we can go into the triple-headed monster. We can do that briefly right before we go into the live core PCE data. Okay. All right, here's our 10-year yield. Now it's holding above last week's highs, right? Holding the 200-day moving average now, but it's got good resistance here. So this core PCE will mean something. Tomorrow's data will mean more. The unemployment and the non-farm payrolls. Okay, just have to see. Have to see what happens here. Now the second head of this monster is the dollar. And the dollar taking a little dip here. That must mean the euro and the yen pushed up a little bit. So a little different story here, but still like the 10-year yield holding the 200-day moving average. Just have to see what happens. Now, our fear gauge, but really is the hedge gauge for the election, is our VIX. Technically, it's just the fear gauge. Okay, typically it's the fear gauge, but it's more of a hedge gauge. Gapping up here with this move down in the pre-market, right? Reached all the way up almost to 22. Like I said, I expected this to be around this area before the election. It's more of a hedge than a fear. Okay, more of a hedge than a fear. All right, that does that. I think we can go. We can go right here. Stay right here. We'll look at the ES. We can put it on an hourly chart here. We'll watch to see what this core PCE data does. Let's see, you should get some pulsing here. Boop, boop, boop. There it is. All right. That is out. Market seems to like it initially. All right, let's see the rolling in here, the numbers. I'll say, okay, so initial jobless claim. Let's look at the data real quick. As the core PCE and stuff roll in. Okay, they're rolling in. All right. So, initial jobless claims, we expect it 230. You got under. Okay, so that again is talking really about that's not going to bring in bigger cuts, right? You want to see that number over that number for the market to like that, right? Now, if we look at core PCE, let's go. I got to open this up to the 1 star to get the core PCE year over year. Let's get core PCE over year. Oh boy, we expected 2.6, got 2.7. Now, sometimes this consensus is off. Let's go to the financial juice to see here. Yes, so right here, 2 point, that's core PCE. So yeah, we expect it for 2.6. We got 2.7. Okay, so that's a little hotter. All right, that's a little hotter. Right now, what do we do? Just the PCE year over year, 2.1 consensus, 2.1. Okay, let's see, core PCE month over month, expected 0.3, got 0.3. Okay, so not sure how this market's going to fully deal with this. We'll go right back here. It's not, it's kind of right now nothing burger. It's not really doing much. And you can see right in my chart here how we just double bottomed that last week's lows. Right here. See that? Double bottom. Right at last week's lows. You think people don't pay attention to last week's lows and futures? Look at that. Boom, boom. And then you're hitting. Now you got poor structure here, and we'll get into all that. Okay? But this is like kind of the nothing burger. And remember what I said. Okay? This is a big balance area, right? And look, we're pushing off. You got poor structure here. Got an election. I could definitely see us ripping back up here today. Right? Definitely can see that. All right. So now we're gonna go right into the main event here. Okay? Right into the market profile, bond profile. Give me 1 second here. My daughter just is Belle for Halloween, and she looks gorgeous with this dress. Unbelievably gorgeous. Um. All right. Let's do it. Boom. Main event time. And let's look at our market profile and volume profile. Come on. All right. Let's push this up here. Alrighty. So what we're gonna do, get my marker out. Not sure who's with me today. Been very quiet in that chat this week. Let's see here. Okay. So let's just talk about yesterday. Here's the movement of yesterday. And I can make that smaller so those bars get fatter so we can just real quick see. Boom. Okay. All right. So yesterday, right? Opened here. And then we pushed up. We actually, sorry, pushed down. I missed my long here. I was a little upset at that because then it rocketed up, right? Now you can see the most trader price of the month and the most trader price of the week are equal now. It's ultimate balance. We came into supply. The market tried to get above this level, this big level, okay? So that means everybody agreed upon this price in the last month and the last week. I got short right at like 58.83, right about there. almost at, yes, the previous day's highs. Got short and rode that puppy all the way down. For me, I got out around here. Okay. So that was a nice 20 something points in futures. Pretty nice trade. So that's what happened yesterday. And then obviously Microsoft, the Meta, reported. Okay. So that's what happened yesterday. Now, move this up here. Okay. Now, let's get into our structure. All right. So what do we have here? We look at all this value up here. And price is down here at 58.16. 58.16. And look at the thin volume. Look at that thin volume. Okay. That is a lot of people who were long dumping their positions. Now, if you look to the left, all the way from here, those longs were just taken out. Now, you come to that last week's lows, think about it. All the shorts up here just got paid, and now they turn into buyers, and then buyers also can join them, and we can go back. Okay, now how would this work? Because, like I said, values up here. There is very thin volume here. Okay, so that market needs to really hold down here. Now look at that. Very important to look at this. The most traded price of the overnight is 58.07. We are above that price right now. These are most likely shorts. And the farther we get away from this, shorts will have to cover if there's a big push up. Okay. Now, again, I talked about this yesterday. If the market cannot bring value down here, you're going to return to value. Okay. You can't sustain this. All this tells you is market's running out of participants. The thinner the volume gets. People are not agreeing as much on that price. They need to agree on it. Okay, that's how that works. Now, we are below the month-to-date VWAP. It's red. That means sellers finally took control of this month. Okay, they're in control. They're in control of the week. The week-to-date VWAP is red. All right, that's obvious for the week, but that's pretty big for the month because for most of the month, this anchor VWAP was green. Okay, and just at the last day of October, it's turning into like sellers are in control. So very interesting because it's generally a bearish month. Towards the end becomes bullish, but we are at the end. All right, now we are gapping lower. All right, what's our inventory here? That's the only long activity to this much short. We're kind of at the bottom third of the session. Okay, now you do have a bearish imbalance to this profile. It's very doesn't have excess, so you can look at this as bearish as well. Okay, bearish as well. It's just very flat. Usually you see an excess like this. Okay, so keeping all these things in note. Only this long's at this much short. That's about, I would call that 80% net short. Okay, 80% net is short. Now remember what I told you. We hit last week's lows in futures. Last week's lows. Okay, so very important. Can sellers push us past that? There's big demand zones down here. There's an election coming. Remember the bag holding. Okay. Okay. Now, let's look at our levels here. 58.40.25 is gap fill. That's yesterday's lows. 58.40.25. That is the lows of yesterday. That's a gap fill. We are down here. Okay. And there's single prints right where we found support right here. But there's the big demand zone here. Okay. Now, let's look at some levels that we can look at here. Let's see here. Now you have the midpoint of the overnight session. That is 58.27.25. That's the 50% retracement of the overnight. Okay. You have a supply zone here. Right close, right up to gap fill. Okay. So that's a level to look at. That's a level to look at. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. My daughter just said goodbye to me, so that's why I paused. Now, we're gapping down. So let's talk about gap rules. So here's the overnight highs, overnight lows, yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. All right. Now, in gaps, we have gap rules. So, number one, how could the market open? It could gap and go. Number two, we can pull back, fail to fill the gap, roll over. We can fill the gap and roll over. Those are all sellers are in control. That was number three. Now, number four would be if the market manages to start coming back into yesterday's range, that just means sellers are not as strong. That's how you gauge it. Now, these big gaps are very hard to read sometimes. Okay, very, very hard to read. All right, so this is what let's just get right into scenarios. All right, we'll get right into scenarios. That low of yesterday just happened to be the big weak low around 58.37 to 58.40 here. That's a very big level. Okay, that's a very big level, and it just happens to be our gap fill. Okay, so we're going to talk about scenarios here. We're going to go right into it. And we're going to start this day off with the bull. Okay. I would lean that way just because of all the stuff I said. We're at balance lows, bag holding, all this stuff. Okay. Now, what I could see definitely happen. Remember what I said about this has a bearish imbalance to the profile of the overnight. Okay. This most likely needs to be corrected. Doesn't have excess. Doesn't have excess. You have a demand zone right here. Say. So in a bull scenario, all right, I could see us pushing down here. Now look what would happen. You correct that by making excess in that profile. Okay. Then there's a demand zone actually down here too. So you get double demand zones here. But let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Let's do it over here. So we can first come into here. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to us to make excess, push down to that other demand zone, recover, higher low, higher low. And now if I see other stocks hitting key levels, maybe gamma levels, support levels, yeah, I'm going to love to ride that puppy up here into this supply, probably take some profit here, see if you can fill the gap and start working our way back into balance, into the mean. Okay. All right, that's kind of what, now if you break down here, we'll see. But that's kind of what I would like to see. Okay, now, as far as the bear, okay, you do have the gap fill here pretty much with month-to-date anchor VWAP, with the supply zone, with the midpoint of the session, the 50% retracement of this overnight session. And remember, the balance low that it broke. That's the gap fill. So you can definitely come back in here and see. I want to see what happens. Now, it could fail month-to-day VWAP. It could fail its supply zone, lower high, lower high. Then there's liquidity down here that pushed up. You could take that out, take those single prints out, and then you can maybe hit this naked VPOC at a 57, probably 57.88. And there's pretty weak structure down here. Like I said, though, I don't know how far you get. Maybe 57.80. All right, I really don't know, because who wants to be holding the bag? Now, if you did do something like this, I would expect some type of recovery. So this is really what I'm interested in. Okay, that's really what I'm interested in. Now, the only other thing that would, I'm really not. I would say we could do this, push down, and let's say we're holding here and holding here, well, you're holding in demand zone. I don't like anything else, honestly. I just gave you what I like. I'm not going to go, and there's a bunch of other things that could happen, but I wouldn't really like them, so I'd rather talk about stuff that I like. All right, let's look at the difference. Now, just structurally, below ultimate balance, we're in ultimate balance. That's why you got this big move, right? So that level is 58.78. Below that, that's bearish structure, okay? Now, let's move on to the NASDAQ. Okay, now the NASDAQ, quite a recovery here from the lows, okay? Quite a recovery. So let's look at the structure here. Let's look at structure. Now, yesterday, what did we do? Right? Opened here, right? Opened there, pushed down, I believe, to somewhere, I can't remember exactly where. I think it was like in here. Went all the way up and failed, right? And then kind of held here and then pushed down. Closed down here, right? Now, remember these key levels? They moved a little bit, but the most traded price of the week is here at 205.50, right? Most traded price of the month is here, 204.40. Price is below those levels. So that's major. Now remember the volume I talked about? See all that volume here in this profile? It actually broke all the way under that volume, but now it's recovered. So we're right here. Now you go into here, that could be choppy, right? So we got big levels here. That's big levels, right? Price is underneath it. That is bearish structure. However, we are in we're a high volume node here. So just have to see how this plays out. Now you are gapping down. So here's yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs, overnight lows. Okay. Now, as far as the profile for the week, got thin volume here and then values here. Okay. So like I said before, you need to move value here in order for this market to stay under here. If not, it's going to work its way back to value. Okay. Now, let's see if there's some key levels here. There is, right? Look at this. Overnight highs stopped right at the most traded price of the week. That's a week high. That's at 205.50. 205.50. Remember, 204.40 is the most traded price of the month. That's what we're under right now. Okay. That should not be easy to get over. And you have a supply zone here. Now look, month-to-day VWAPs right there. We're above it now. Look, it's still green. Okay, ES, it's red. Okay. Look at this. The midpoint of the overnight sessions right here, almost to the most traded price of the month. Okay, now look at all that volume that was down there. This was shorts, most likely, and now they covered, and the price is back up here. Okay. Pushed off those lows. Now, the NASDAQ has a little excess here, unlike the ES. Okay, got a demand here. So, yeah. So, we broke this balance low here. Look at that. Around here, this big area, that was pretty much the balance lows. We broke it. We didn't break it in the real-time trading hours. We broke it in the overnight session. Okay. So, again, I'm not going to go over gap rules, but that's gap fill right here, 204.74. Okay. It's yesterday's highs, overnight lows. Okay. Now, let's come up with a game plan for the NASDAQ. Now, this NASDAQ, we'll go into scenarios right now, right? It's got those big levels. So, we're going to see how I want to deal with that. The first thing I want to do is actually, in this case, look at the short side. Because this big level, 204.40 in supply, and you have 204.40 most traded price of the month, you have yesterday's lows, the gap fill. All right. You have the gap fill, and this should be a wall. This is also the balance low that it broke. So the Nasdaq has to me has an easier short setup. Okay, so what I'd like to see is ooh, look at that, the most trader price just shifted to here. What I'd like to see is, what does it do when it goes into this area? Remember, if once it goes into this area and holds, that's a chop zone. So I don't want to be involved in a chop zone. So if it comes into here, gets rejected, starts lower high, yeah, I think you're going to start pushing down, and you could test the overnight lows and possibly go down here to like 201.89 about. Okay, possibly. That's what I would be looking for. Okay, what does it do with this level? Very important. Very, very important. Okay, could even just kiss here real quickly, gap fill, lower highs come across, you take all that long liquidity and it gets rolled over. It's probably only what I'm interested in as a short. Okay, now as a long, you got demand here. Okay, you got this level here, so you could double this up. Remember, inverse it. So let's say the market does this, and say you're not interested in shorts, and it comes all the way back down here into this demand, and maybe we get a little bear trap that it goes like this, boom, and recovers higher low. Then you can make yourself, probably work yourself up into this area. It could probably go into this chop area, possibly even go back up to 205.50, the most traded price of the week. Like I said, I don't believe anybody wants to hold that bag for election. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm interested in. Something might arise, and remember, there's always new data. There's always new data every morning that I don't know. That's going to be new data, right? It's new data, and you have to process that accordingly. So like, I could like something now and then change my mind within the first 10 minutes of the market and be like, oh, well, this changes things, right? So that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed that analysis. All right, if you did enjoy it, you know what to do. Smash the like button. Smash that like button. All right, smash that like button. All right, and I do this every day at 8:10 a.m. Please join me, have a cup of coffee, tea, whatever you drink, water, and subscribe. All right, give you that recap. Listen to your boy. I'll never steal you wrong. I don't have a bias. All right, I give you the lowdown of the markets. Just join me. All right, and of course, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, also post my trading videos to my YouTube shorts, and you can also check out my TikTok at Gonzo719Trader. All right, Gonzo719Trader. All right, so what's the story here? We'll talk about the ES. ES came down. We saw to in SPY came down to last month's highs. In futures came down to last week's lows and pushed off. Okay. If I was a gambling man, I'd probably say I would favor the longs today to go back up. Shorts will take profits, turn into buyers. That's what I think should happen, of the theme of what's been happening in the markets. But anything can happen. It's not a bias. It's just what I feel is more probable. Okay, I don't see another leg lower today. But can that happen? And if it does, I'll try to capitalize on it. All right? So everybody, we have our plan. Stay green. No trade is a trade. Stay patient. And have a great Halloween.